first of all, big thank you for making the time for me. I know today's your day off. I really enjoyed Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead 2 in Liverpool on Wednesday night. In particular, one of the things I liked was the way the film illustrates that, whilst drinking vegetables has got like massive benefits, actually to maintain a healthy lifestyle, you need to do more than that. So since making the first film, what's been the most challenging thing for you with maintaining your own health?
I think the lack of routine, Neil, the fact that I don't live in one location with, my gym around the corner, my mates that I can do stuff with, the local golf course or tennis club or hiking ground, or, having a kitchen that I can get my juicer out in, and having a local farm that I can connect with to get produce sent in, and basically the routine is the hardest part. Like when you're on the road, that's hard. I mean, interestingly enough, the old saying is the grass is always green. So, when you've got a routine and that's all you're doing, you want to be doing what I'm doing, which is on the road, different cities, different hotels, seeing the world. But then when you're doing what I'm doing, you want to have the routine. So, that's us humans. We're never happy.
I was talking with our mutual friend Steve Barney about how the first film's been such a catalyst for so many people, but we were wondering really, being the poster boy for juicing and touring the world, does that help you stay on track with your own health?
I think that there's no doubt that if I hadn't have made the movie and I just did what I had done, I don't think I'd be as good a shape today as I was, because the community has been very helpful.
Yep.
I don't think it, it's hard to say, but there are negatives to what I'm doing now, which poor sleep, poor, but I've got to overcome those, and that's just the reality. So it's got to be careful to make sure that I keep maintaining my health as a priority. And I think I've got a lot better the last 2 years. Probably 4 years ago was probably the worst, when I was slipping back into old habits of just working too hard and travelling too much and not finding time to move and to get him working. I've been a lot better that. The last 3 or 4 days, it's actually impossible for me to carve out an hour in the gym and a half an hour to cool down and a half an hour stretching. Yeah. But before this tour, I was in the Hamptons, 2-3 hours outside of New York City. I was there for a month, and I worked out 2 hours a day in preparation, knowing I had the tour on. So, I try to balance out.
Yeah. And so I think you possibly answered my next question a little bit, but is there a downside to being Joe from Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead instead of just being kind of anonymous Joe?
Look, I think that, I think there's always positives and negatives to every choice and everything we do in our life. I'd be lying if I said, no, there's no downsides. I mean, there is. But I think the upside weighs out those, hundreds to one. I think it's, I have a great life. I don't want anyone to think that I, win. I have a great life. So, for the things that I have to put up with, or the things that I have to endure, that comes with the territory. If I end up sitting next to somebody on a flight and they just want to talk to me for half an hour about juice and ask me the same questions that I've been asked many times, I'm going to try and do it with a smile on my face. Yeah. And, but there is sometimes a limit when I don't really have the energy to do it, and I try to be polite, and hopefully that comes across.
No, that's cool. Carolyn from Qatar, actually, who came to Camp Reboot, I put something on Facebook saying that I was going to be talking to you, and she asked the question of, do you ever plan to settle down, or do you just intend to just keep traveling and kind of encouraging and educating people, almost indefinitely?
No, I think settling down is a good idea. I think I'll be doing that. I think that I've been on the road now for 4 years, and I've probably got another year of this left in me. But then I would think that in the 2016 year, I would hope that all the hard yards of all the touring and everything else we've done would have built up enough of a brand awareness that I can be smarter about my appearances. And see, right now I do everything for free.
Yeah.
And you know, it costs me money to do what I'm doing right now. I mean, I've got to do travel, I've got to book the theatre, and it's all free.
Yep.
And, you know, that's okay. But in a couple of years' time, if I can get the trajectory right and get more content out there and just continue to connect, then there are smarter ways of doing it where you don't have to lug around to so many different places. You can be more natural and you can be more planned, and then people can come and you can do 1,000 or 2,000 people in one evening.
Yeah.
And I think it's about being more efficient in that, because obviously this is a startup at the moment, and we just see where it takes. But you know, that's not going to be really sustainable for too much longer in terms of that travel schedule.
Okay. No, that's cool. And I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, I've travelled quite a lot for work and stuff as well, and it gets to be whilst it's exciting to see all those places, it becomes a bit of a bind, doesn't it? After a while, just being away from your friends and family and everything else.
Yeah, and it's being in the place is fine. It's actually the getting in and out that's the problem. It's the traffic, it's the waiting at the airport, it's the security, it's the delays, it's the getting to the city and the hotel not being ready and wait 3 hours before you can debunk and get organised. It's the catching up on the emails at late night because you haven't been connected, and you know, the calls you're always doing, and it's everything else that goes with the added demands of moving from one location to another.